YouTube fam? Okay, we back, boys, and we got it's back to episode 2 of NFL Star Stories. Okay, NFL Stories part episode 2. Yeah, okay, it's episode 2 of my part, and we got the NFL hates Jalen Hurts. Let's get it.
Maybe he should switch to running back. He's not good enough to be a pro quarterback. Maybe he should switch to running back. Just a product of a stacked roster. System quarterback. These are the words.
Just a product of a stacked roster. Yo.
Running back. Just a product of a stacked roster.
Nah. That's diabolical, bro. Bro, who said that, bro?
System quarterback. These are the words that have followed Jalen Hurts at every stage of his career. In a league that celebrates elite talent, Hurts has led his team to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years as a starter, been named an MVP finalist, earned All-Pro honors, and broken records with his dual-threat abilities. Yet somehow he remains on the outside looking in when the conversation turns to the NFL's elite quarterbacks. His signature play.
Like, bro, like, before I start this video, they quarterback, being a quarterback in the NFL is hard, bro. Like, because your whole team, like the whole season depends on a quarterback, bro. So like being a quarterback, like you gotta have some guts, bro. Like this is not like being a running back, a wide receiver. No, but like being a quarterback is one of the hardest things you can ever choose, bro, to be in the NFL.
The nearly unstoppable tush push became so dominant that the NFL considered banning it entirely. Think about that. A player.
Yeah, I heard about the tush push, bro. Like people were like, it's not rugby, bro. It's not rugby. They gotta stop it.
Performed so exceptionally at something that the league contemplates changing the rules, and instead of celebrating his unique abilities, critics use it as another excuse to diminish him. The pattern is unmistakable. When Jalen Hurts succeeds, others get the credit. His coaches, his offensive line, his receivers. When he struggles, the narrative becomes, see, we told you he wasn't that good. No matter what mountain he climbs, there's always a higher one placed in front of him. Today, we're diving into the NFL's complicated relationship with Jalen Hurts, a story of constant doubt, remarkable resilience, and the question that hangs over it all. What does a quarterback who's done everything have to do to finally get the respect he deserves?
That's a good question, bro. We gotta ask these dudes, like we really gotta get all the critics in the room, bro, and just be asking them, like, what in the world do you guys need to see, bro? Do you want him to like bring God himself or something, bro?
Jalen Hurts was born on August 7th, 1998 in Houston, Texas.
Damn, bro, he's young as fuck, bro. I thought bro was in his 30s, bro. Like, damn, bro, what?
He grew up in the nearby town of Channelview, a working-class area where football wasn't just a game, it was a way of life. His father, Varian Hurts Sr., was the head football coach at Channelview High School. From an early age, Jalen was surrounded by the game, learning the fundamentals. Coach at Channelview High School. From an early age.
Yo, bro had hair like that. Like, bro looks like he was one of them Disney kids in them Hawaiian movies or on them Hawaiian surfing movies, bro. Like, he looks like he grew up in Hawaii, bro. Bro, yeah, bro, that cut did him good, bro. That cut did him good, bro. Like, he would be roasted if he was a QB like this.
Jalen was surrounded by the game, learning the fundamentals on the same field where his dad coached and his older brother, Varian Jr., played quarterback before eventually becoming a coach himself. The Hurts family was built on discipline and hard work. Growing up with a coach for a father meant there were no shortcuts, no excuses. Every day.
So like none of his family members went to the NFL. So he's the first one to actually break the cycle and not just play football, end up being in the NFL. Bro, big ups to Pro.
It was an opportunity to improve, to push limits. This mentality shaped Jalen from his earliest days. But Jalen wasn't just an ordinary athlete. Even among the football-obsessed culture of Texas high school sports, he stood out. By the time he was a sophomore in high school, Hurts was squatting over 500 pounds. His strength and work at
bro, I'm just saying, bro.
High school, Hurts was squatting.
The hair had to go, bro. This right here, I don't know what's going on right here, bro. This shit had to go, bro. Thank God somebody told him.
Over 500 pounds. His strength and work ethic were legendary even as a teenager. Teammates would marvel at his dedication in the weight room, often finding him there hours before and after practice. On the field, he was just as dominant. In his senior year at Channelview High, Hurts threw for nearly 2,400 yards and 26 touchdowns, while adding another
Yo, those are some good numbers, bro. Those in high school, those are some good numbers, because I've seen like other players like Joe Pero, like they were throwing for like 10,000 to 12,000, bro.
threw for nearly 2,400 yards and 26
And they were getting like 20 to 30 touchdowns. These are good numbers, bro. For him, these are good numbers. For us, these are good numbers, bro.
touchdowns, while adding another 400 yards and 25 scores on the ground. He was a dual threat quarterback before it was fashionable, capable of beating defenses with both his arm and legs. Despite those impressive numbers, many major college programs doubted him. Some thought he was more of an athlete than a quarterback, a narrative that would follow him throughout his career. Schools like Texas A&M pushed hard to land him, but it was Alabama, and specifically offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin.
My boy was a Crimson Tide. Nobody told me he was a Tide, bro. He's in Alabama, bro. You know very well, bro. Like Alabama be creating underrated quarterbacks. Right now it's Jalen Milroe, bro. Everybody is doubting Jalen Milroe. This is the same, bro. Alabama, bro. We got these QPs and nobody be thinking we got them, bro. Okay, like so, bro was in Alabama. That's why they doubting him. That's why, like, bro. The same thing is happening to Jalen Milroe as we speak, bro.
Saw his potential as a true quarterback. Kiffin promised Hurts he would get a legitimate shot at playing quarterback, not just being converted to another position. And so, Jalen Hurts took his talents to Tuscaloosa, ready to prove the doubters wrong. When Jalen Hurts arrived at Alabama in 2016, he wasn't expected to start right away. Nick Saban had already named Blake Barnett the starter heading into the season, but it didn't take long for Hurts to make his move. By the second half of the opening game against USC, Hurts took over the offense, and he never looked back. As a true freshman, Hurts broke records. He threw for nearly 2,800 yards, 23 touchdowns, and added another 954 yards on the ground with 13 rushing scores. His rushing total set an Alabama quarterback record. His ability to make plays with both his arm and legs gave Alabama's offense.
Oh my God, bro. Alabama be getting this QP. Bro, this is Jalen Milroe, bro. This is Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe didn't do that. Okay, he didn't do that good, sure, with passing touchdowns, but he also made rush touchdowns. Bro, Alabama be lucky to get these QPs, bro.
Offense a new dimension. He set the Crimson Tide's single-season total touchdown record with 36 and was named both SEC Freshman of the Year and SEC Offensive Player of the Year.
But they still doubted him, right? They still doubted him, bro.
Hurts led the Crimson Tide to a perfect 12-0 regular season and the top seed in the college football playoff. After a solid showing in the semifinal against Washington, Hurts struggled in the national championship game against Clemson. He completed just 42% of his passes for 131 yards. Despite scoring a go-ahead touchdown late in the game with his legs, Alabama's defense gave up a last-second score, and Clemson walked away with the title. The next year, Hurts returned as the starter, but his numbers dipped slightly. Alabama lost to Auburn in the Iron Bowl, though they still made the college football playoff. In the national championship against Georgia, Hurts was benched at halftime after a dreadful first half where he completed less than 50% of his passes for only 21 yards. As Alabama fell behind 13-0, Tua Tagovailoa came in, rallied the Tide, and won the game with an iconic overtime touchdown. It was a crushing moment that would have broken many quarterbacks. Being benched on college football's biggest stage in front of millions of viewers would send many players into the transfer portal immediately, but not Jalen Hurts. Despite the humiliation, Hurts stayed at Alabama.
Commitment, okay? Commitment. He's committed, bro. Okay? He's not gonna break easily. That's something a QP needs, bro.
In 2018, he backed up Tua, improved his game, and got his redemption in the SEC championship game, leading Alabama to a comeback win when Tua went down with an injury. It was a perfect display of the character and resilience that would define his career. After graduating with his degree, Hertz knew he had to transfer to get another chance to lead. He chose.
Yo, bro's starting to look like 30, bro. Like, bro was in college looking 30, bro. He looks like he's in his. Bro, this guy. Nah, bro, this guy looks old, bro. What the hell, bro? Like, this dude was in his 20s, bro. Nah, yeah, now you gotta be playing, bro. Jamie, this dude probably 21 right here. 21, bro. 20. You want me to believe that if I take this dude to school right now, they wouldn't think he's my dad. This dude looks like he could be my dad, bro.
Degree, Hertz knew he had to transfer to get another chance to lead. He chose Oklahoma, a program that had just produced back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners in Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray under head coach Lincoln Riley. From the moment Hertz stepped on the field for the Sooners, he was electric. In his lone season at Oklahoma, he threw for over 3,800 yards and 32 touchdowns while adding nearly 1,300 rushing yards. For 3,800 yards and 32 touchdowns while adding nearly 1,300 rushing yards and 20 rushing scores. His total yardage surpassed 5,000, and he showcased the improvements he'd made as a passer. Under Riley's system, Hertz looked confident, accurate, and dangerous. He led Oklahoma to a 12-1 record, a Big 12 championship, and a spot in the college football playoff. Hertz was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, finishing second behind Joe Burrow, whose LSU team was in the midst of one of the greatest seasons in college football history. In the CFP semifinal against Burrow's LSU squad, Oklahoma.
Hey, yo, can you believe Jalen had won a Super Bowl before Joe Burrow, bro? Like, doesn't make sense, bro, that he won a Super Bowl before Joe Burrow. Like, yeah, Joe Burrow reached the Super Bowl before him, but he didn't win it. So, what, bro?
Oklahoma was overmatched. Despite the blowout loss, Hertz had cemented his legacy as one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in college football history. More importantly, he'd silenced many critics who thought he couldn't develop as a passer. Hertz completed his master's degree while at Oklahoma and declared for the NFL draft. His college career had been a roller coaster, benchings, transfers, redemption, but he had proved one thing without a doubt. Jalen Hurts was a leader and a winner. Heading into the 2020 NFL draft, Jalen Hurts remained one of the most polarizing quarterback prospects. Despite his breakout season at Oklahoma and clear improvement as a passer, many NFL scouts still weren't convinced. They labeled him a gadget player.
I bet they won't say that now. Okay, I know this was back then, but I bet they wouldn't say that shit now, bro.
A potential backup or someone who might switch positions entirely. Teams questioned his ability to make NFL-level throws and run a pro-style offense. At the Combine, Hurts performed well in nearly every test, showcasing elite results in the speed and explosion metrics. But his size, standing 6'1" and weighing 200.
Hey, did you watch the NFL Combine, bro? There was a dude that looked like this, bro. Okay, like the Combine, there was a dude who looked like this, bro. Like, this is how he looked at the Combine. This like his double ganger, bro.
22 pounds, was considered poor for a quarterback by traditional standards. Once again, the old narratives followed him. Great athlete, questionable quarterback. As draft night unfolded, 4 quarterbacks went in the first round: Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love. Hurts waited and waited. It wasn't until the middle of the second round that his name was finally called. The Philadelphia Eagles selected Jalen Hurts with the 53rd overall pick.
Best decision they've ever made. Like, sometimes you gotta like sit back and think, man, I remember when you drafted him. You know, nobody wanted him and you gave him a chance. Like, this is like the best decision they've ever made. Other than signing, you know, getting Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants too. You know, this, bruh, come on, bro.
Pick. The reaction was immediate and brutal. Eagles fans were shocked. Analysts ripped the pick apart. Carson Wentz was still the starter, and Philly had far greater needs. Why would they draft a quarterback? Some speculated Hurts was drafted to be a gadget player like Taysom Hill. Others questioned whether he'd even be given a chance to play quarterback at all. ESPN analyst Mel Kiper Jr. called it the most surprising pick in the draft, adding that it...
Like, bro, you gotta love your redemption story, bro. You just gotta laugh when somebody does like the impossible, like against all the odds, bro. Okay, against all the odds, bro.
Created a major quarterback controversy. Former Eagles quarterback Donovan McNabb said the pick was disrespectful to Carson Wentz. Even the Eagles' front office seemed divided on the selection. The Eagles justified the pick by talking about quarterback factory philosophies and the importance of the backup position, but it was clear they weren't fully committed to Hurts as their future. General manager Howie Roseman told the media, "When we drafted Jalen, it's certainly not about looking at the quarterback position in the short term. From day one, it was clear. The NFL didn't believe it."
Bro should have left, bro. But at this point, he had nowhere to go because it looked like nobody else wanted him, bro. So even if he wanted to leave after being disrespected, like bro, you just got drafted and they already disrespecting you. Worst part is your own management, bro. It's your own management. The whole team management is like not feeling you, bro.
And Jalen Hurts. Even the team that drafted him seemed unsure about his role. Once again, Hurts had to prove everyone wrong. Jalen Hurts began his NFL career buried on the depth chart. He was listed as the Eagles' third-string quarterback behind Carson Wentz and Nate Sudfeld. Early in the 2020 season, Hurts was used sparingly in special packages, mostly as a runner or decoy. There were constant questions about whether he was even viewed as a real quarterback or just an athletic gadget player. But as the 2020 season unraveled for Philadelphia, things changed quickly. Carson Wentz's play deteriorated dramatically, leading the NFL in interceptions and struggling with turnovers. By week 13, head coach Doug Peterson made the decision to bench Wentz and give Hurts his first start against the New Orleans Saints. Hurts brought a spark immediately. He led the Eagles to a surprising 24-21 win over the Saints, snapping their 9-game winning streak. His ability to extend plays and create with his legs gave the Philadelphia offense a dimension it had been missing. Over his 4 starts that season, Hurts threw for 1,061 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. He also rushed for 354 yards and 3 scores. The Eagles finished the season 4-11-1 and missed the playoffs. But Hurts had shown flashes of potential. Despite those flashes, the questions persisted. Was Hurts just a stopgap? Was he good enough to be a long-term starter? After the season ended, the Eagles fired Doug Peterson, and the organization seemed in turmoil. Carson Wentz was traded to Indianapolis, and Nick Sirianni was brought in as head coach. Even with Wentz gone, some believed the Eagles would draft another quarterback with their 6th overall pick, but they didn't, selecting Devonta Smith instead, Hurts' former Alabama teammate. In year 2, as the full-time starter, Hurts and the Eagles began to show promise under Sirianni. Jalen had an incredible opener against the Falcons, throwing for 3 touchdowns and finishing with a passer rating of 126.4. The season was up and down, but Hurts showed significant improvement, throwing for over 300 yards and 16 touchdowns against 9 interceptions. On the ground, he was even more impressive, rushing for 784 yards and 10 touchdowns. The Eagles finished 9-8, earning a wild-card playoff berth. But in the playoffs against Tampa Bay, Hurts struggled, losing a fumble and throwing 2 interceptions as Philadelphia lost.
Oh man, I know they were happy, bro. I know they had a field day with bro. They had a field day with my QB, bro.
31-15 to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. The performance gave his critics fresh ammunition. Despite the glimpses of greatness shown in the 2021 season, the verdict was still out on Hurts' viability as a franchise quarterback. Heading into his 3rd year, there were still rumblings that the Eagles might look to upgrade at quarterback. Reports surfaced that they had inquired about Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. Once again, Hurts would have to prove himself worthy of the starting job. Heading into the 2022 season, Jalen Hurts still had plenty of doubters. Some called him a game manager. Others said he was a running back playing quarterback. But Eagles general manager Howie Roseman believed in him, and he made a bold move to give Hurts the weapons he needed. Philadelphia traded their 1st-round pick to the Tennessee Titans for star wide receiver A.J. Brown, a close friend of Hurts from their college recruiting days. With Brown joining Devonta Smith and tight end Dallas Goedert, the Eagles had built one of the most dangerous receiving corps in the NFL, and Hurts took full advantage. Hurts posted career-high numbers in 2022. He threw for 3,701 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. On the ground, he added 760 rushing yards, 6 interceptions. On the ground, he added 760 rushing yards and 13 rushing scores. His dual threat ability became nearly unstoppable, and his leadership was undeniable. Philadelphia finished the regular season 14-3, securing the #1 seed in the NFC. But one of the most effective weapons in the Eagles' arsenal was something simple: the quarterback sneak. Nicknamed the tush push, the Eagles lined up Jalen Hurts under center on short yardage plays, then shoved him forward with teammates from behind. With Hurts' powerful
One of the most controversial NFL play of last season, bro. Like the way this thing is hated is unbelievable, bro.
legs and low center of gravity, the play was nearly unstoppable. Philadelphia converted these sneaks at an incredible 93% success rate. It became a signature weapon for the Eagles. Anytime they faced a 3rd and 1 or 4th and short, Hurts would line up and the offense would bulldoze forward for a first down. No tricks, no gimmicks, just brute strength and flawless execution. The success didn't go unnoticed. Hurts was named a Pro Bowler, earned second-team All-Pro honors, and finished as the runner-up in MVP, voting behind Patrick Mahomes. In the playoffs, he continued to shine, leading dominant wins over the New York Giants, 38-7, and the San Francisco 49ers, 31-7, to reach Super Bowl.
Honestly, I understand having to prove yourself to the critics. No, actually, you don't have to prove yourself to the critics or to anybody, bro. But the fact that their own fans were shocked when he was like drafted because they didn't want him, bro. That's why I'm pissed off, bro. Like these are the same fans screaming his name now, bro. Like, I hope they apologized, bro. Okay, I hope they
Leave in.
like I hope they created a group chat or they created like a motherfucking Facebook group and then they apologized, bro. Okay.
On the biggest stage of his career, Hurts delivered one of the greatest Super Bowl performances by a quarterback in NFL history. He accounted for 4 total touchdowns, throwing for 304 yards and a touchdown, while rushing for 70 yards and 3 more scores. He even converted a clutch 2-point conversion late in the game to tie it at 35. Hurts became the first quarterback in Super Bowl history to rush for 3 touchdowns. He began the scoring with a touchdown on the patented tush push, added a beautiful 45-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, and countered a Chiefs fumble recovery touchdown with another rushing score of his own to give Philadelphia a 21-14 lead. In the fourth quarter, with the Eagles trailing by 8 points, Hurts engineered a masterful 8-play, 75-yard drive, which he capped off with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the contest and a game-tying 2-point conversion. But despite his heroics, the Eagles lost 38-35 to Mahomes and the Chiefs when Harrison Butker kicked a field goal with just 8 seconds remaining. And while Mahomes was celebrated for his gutsy performance on an injured ankle, Hurts' historic showing was largely overshadowed. Once again, it felt like Hurts wasn't getting the credit he deserved. Fox's Colin Cowherd summed up the inequity. If Jalen Hurts had Mahomes' stat line and Mahomes had Hurts' stat line, everyone would be crowning Mahomes as the greatest ever. But because it's Hurts, everyone's talking about the weapons around him. Success breeds resentment. As the Eagles dominated during the success breeds, but because it's Hurts.
This is a wise man right here, okay? Don't be like anybody. Be like this guy, okay? Choose to be like this guy, okay? Don't choose to be stupid, bro, okay? Be wise. Be like this dude here.
Hurts, everyone's talking about the weapons around him. Success breeds resentment. As the Eagles dominated during the 2022 season, complaints started to roll in about their signature play. Some teams argued the tush push was unfair. Others claimed it was a safety issue, even though no serious injuries were linked to it. By the offseason, the NFL's competition committee was discussing whether to ban the play entirely. For many, it felt personal. The tush push wasn't just a play. It was a symbol of what made Hurts special. His strength, his toughness, his ability to lead a physical, relentless offense. And now the league was considering taking it away. Critics said the Eagles' offense was cheap for using it so often. Some said Hurts was only effective because of it, but nobody talked about how it was Hurts' unique skill set, his power, decision making, and toughness that made it work. While other teams tried to replicate the play with minimal success, Philadelphia's version worked because of Hurts. Once again, it felt like the NFL was targeting Jalen Hurts for doing something better than anyone else. Coming off a Super Bowl appearance, expectations for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles were sky high heading into 2023. And for the first half of the season, they lived up to the hype. Philadelphia jumped out to a dominant 10-1 start, and Hurts was once again in MVP conversations. He was efficient, he was leading comebacks, and the Eagles looked like the team.
Yeah, bro. He was really doing everything they didn't want to see him doing, bro. He was doing everything they didn't want to see him. Like, he was achieving the things they thought he wouldn't achieve, bro. Like, I'm sure they were always pissed. Like, imagine watching somebody play because you want to hate, bro. Imagine watching a whole four quarters of somebody playing because you want to criticize that one little mistake he's gonna make. Like, bro, don't choose to be a hater, bro. Okay, unless you like Kendrick Lamar, bro. He can do it, not you, bro. You're not like that.
Team to beat in the NFC. But then it all fell apart. The Eagles lost 5 of their final 6 regular season games. Whispers turned into headlines, locker room drama, leadership questions, and criticisms of first-year coordinators Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. The offense became stagnant. The defense, once dominant, couldn't stop anyone. And suddenly, the team that looked unbeatable in November was limping into the playoffs in January. Through it all, Jalen Hurts took the blame. Despite posting career highs in passing yards, over 3,800, and touchdowns, 23, his 15 interceptions became the story. Analysts called him reckless. They said the Eagles had been figured out. Some pundits even suggested that 2022 was a fluke season for Hurts. The media didn't hold back after Philadelphia's humiliating 32-9 blowout loss to Tampa Bay in the wildcard round. While the team as a whole collapsed, much of the focus was on Hurts. Even though he had a quarterback rating over 100 in that game, it didn't matter. Narratives had already been written. Former NFL quarterback Chris Sims dropped Hurts out of his top 10 quarterback rankings. In his 2024 rankings, Sims had Hurts behind Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow, Herbert, Stafford, Stroud, and Prescott. Fox Sports put out an article before the 2024 season that ranked Hurts 10th, behind not only the elite QBs, but also Aaron Rodgers and Brock Purdy. NFL.com writer Nick Shook also had Hurts ranked 10th prior to the 2024 campaign. PFF placed him 9th in a May 2024 article. But when you dig into the numbers and the accomplishments, these rankings...
I'm actually surprised they got Joe Burrow in the top 5, bro. Because I thought Joe Burrow was also not that liked, but that's crazy.
Rankings tell a different story. Patrick Mahomes is in his own league. He's the gold standard, multiple MVPs, 3 Super Bowl rings, and consistent elite production. No one is arguing Hurts belongs above him. But after Mahomes, it gets interesting. Lamar Jackson has an MVP and electrifying stats, especially as a rusher. But Hurts has 2 Super Bowl appearances to Lamar's 0. Hurts also boasts a higher approximate value, AV, over the last few seasons. And his team's success in the playoffs puts him ahead in that category. Joe Burrow has superior passing numbers, more yards, more touchdowns, but Hurts crushes him as a runner and has been to more Super Bowls, 2 to Burrow's 1. Even by AV, Hurts leads Burrow 71-56. Despite Burrow's reputation as a franchise savior, the argument for Hurts being the more impactful player is legitimate. Josh Allen, statistically, it's close. Allen has more passing yards and touchdowns, but Hurts is more efficient as a runner and has made it to more Super Bowls. Both are dual threat quarterbacks, but Hurts edges.
Are you telling me Josh Allen has only been into 1 Super Bowl? That doesn't sound right, to be honest. Like, when you, because the name Josh Allen screams. I mean, I guess the Buffalo Bills are kinda not that good, I guess.
And has made it to more Super Bowls. Both are dual threat quarterbacks, but Hurts edges Allen in approximate value and has proven himself on the biggest stage more than once. And yet, in the media rankings, Hurts consistently falls behind them. The numbers say Hurts is right there with the best. The media says otherwise. And once again, it begs the question, why? What separates the good quarterbacks from the great ones is their ability to perform when the stakes are highest. And despite what his critics might say, Jalen Hurts has proven himself time and again in the biggest moments. In the 2022 playoffs, Hurts was surgical. In the divisional round against the Giants, he completed 67% of his passes for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns, while adding another score on the ground in a dominant 38-7 win. The next week against the 49ers in the NFC Championship, Hurts didn't need to do much as the Eagles' defense crushed San Francisco, but he still managed the game perfectly in the 31-7 victory. Then came the Super Bowl against Kansas City. On football's grandest stage, Hurts played the game of his life. His 304 passing yards combined with 70 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns put him in rare company. He accounted for all 4 Eagles touchdowns and the game-tying 2-point.
Like, bro, do you see the teams he's beating, bro? Like, he's beating top-tier teams, bro. And bro.
Point conversion. His only mistake, a fumble that was returned for a Chiefs touchdown, was balanced by his otherwise flawless performance. With the game on the line in the fourth quarter, he engineered a clutch 75-yard touchdown drive to tie the game. After the 2023 season's disappointing finish, many wrote Hurts off. The narrative shifted from future MVP to product of the system, but Hurts responded in typical fashion by putting his head down and working. The 2024 season saw a more efficient, more controlled Hurts. While his raw passing numbers dipped to around 2,900 yards, he posted career best marks in both completion percentage and passer rating, with an impressive 3.1 touchdown to interception ratio. With Saquon Barkley now in the backfield to take pressure off, Hurts didn't have to do everything himself. When needed, though, he still made the critical plays.
Deadly duo, bro. Like, let's be honest, bro. This was like 2024's deadliest duo. Even if like they lost the Super Bowl, bro, they're still gonna go out as the 2024 QB running back duo, bro. Like, they were the most dangerous duo, bro, last season from the QB and running back, bro. And nobody else was doing that, bro. Like, I don't like, not even HN, bro. Nobody else was doing the things they were doing, bro. Like, the numbers they put up, bro, crazy.
Especially in the playoffs. In the wild card round against Green Bay, Hurts led the Eagles to a 22-10 victory with a poised, error-free performance. Against the Rams in the divisional round, it was Barkley who stole the show. But Hurts made several clutch throws on third down to keep drives alive. Then, in the NFC Championship against division rival Washington, the Eagles' offense exploded for 55 points in a blowout victory, sending Philly to their second Super Bowl. In 3 years with Hurts under center, it was an emphatic statement. In just 4 seasons as a starter.
And guess who was mad, bro? I know some people were mad. Who? The fucking critics, bro. As if we don't give a hell, we don't give a damn what they say, bro.
Hurts had led the Eagles to multiple conference championships and Super Bowl appearances. No other quarterback from his draft class, not even first overall pick Joe Burrow, could match that level of team success. What makes Hurts' playoff performances even more impressive is how he's responded to adversity. After the disappointment of the 2023 wildcard loss to Tampa Bay, many quarterbacks would have been rattled. But Hurts displayed the same resilience he showed when benched at Alabama. He came back stronger, more focused, and more determined than ever. In a league that loves a redemption story, you'd think Hurts would be celebrated. But instead, he's questioned at every turn. His successes are attributed to his supporting cast, while his struggles are magnified as evidence of his limitations.
Bro, how you gonna say it is the people around him, bro? He is the leader, bro. Come on, he's the captain, bro. Like, look, bro, there's the coach. Yeah, there's the coach, right? But the QB decides everything, bro. Like, the coach cannot do anything once the game starts, bro. Okay, you can bench players but still, bro. Like, you know what? Now I'm getting pissed off, bro. I'm about to crash out for real.
It's a double standard that few other quarterbacks face, especially those considered among the elite. After a brutal collapse in 2023, big changes were coming to Philadelphia. General manager Howie Roseman wasn't wasting time. In free agency, he made a huge move, signing star running back Saquon Barkley. The goal was clear: take pressure off Jalen Hurts, and restore balance to the offense. At the same time, Nick Sirianni overhauled his staff, bringing in Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator and Vic Fangio to lead the defense. The result? A completely different Eagles team, more balanced, more disciplined, more consistent. Hurts didn't put up his gaudiest numbers in 2024, but he was efficient. His best season in terms of completion percentage and passer rating. He threw for just under 3,000 yards, had a 3-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and returned to being a lethal weapon in the run game when it mattered. With Barkley pounding defenses for over 2,000 rushing yards and the defense dominating under Fangio, Hurts didn't have to carry the load alone. But when he was needed, he delivered. Where does this leave Hurts in the hierarchy of NFL quarterbacks? In only 4 seasons as a starter, Hurts is a second-team All-Pro and a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's the best running quarterback in the game outside of Lamar Jackson and has developed into a solid passer. He's led his team to 2 NFC championships and Super Bowls. By the numbers and accomplishments, Hurts has established himself as a top 5 quarterback in the league. Yet the national perception lags far behind the reality. It's hard to pin down why exactly he doesn't generate similar buzz to Allen, Burrow, and Jackson. Is it because he wasn't a first-round pick? Is it because he doesn't have the prototypical quarterback size? Is it because his play style isn't as flashy as some of his peers?
Bro, two of those first round picks don't even have Super Bowl. One of them doesn't even have a Super Bowl appearance, bro. Like, come on. This dude's number, it was 53. He was drafted in the second round, bro, and he still won a Super Bowl before 2 dudes who were drafted in the first round. No, come on, bro. I mean, like, I was just gonna turn a blind eye to. I was just gonna lose all sense of reasoning, bro. Like, common sense is gone. You just threw that out the window or something, bro. Come on.
Or is it something deeper? Jalen, by the numbers, has been excellent since he took over as a full-time starter in 2021. According to AV, approximate value, which measures a player's overall contribution, Hurts ranks near the top among all quarterbacks over the past few seasons. His total value to his team, combining passing and rushing, puts him in elite company. Critics will point to the talent around him: A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and now...
Bro, honestly, I won't lie, bro. Like, I want the NFL to be back, bro. Like, we really have to wait so long for match day 1. Nah, for week 1. Nah, this is not fair, NFL, bro. Come on, bro, please. Nah, cause now I just wanna watch the NFL. Now I wanna watch, bro. Okay, now I'm just being said. I won't lie, bro. Like, the only thing that's on TV right now is basketball, bro. Like, I watch basketball, sure, but I miss football, bro. Okay, we miss football.
Saquon Barkley as the reason for his success. But is that really fair? Every great quarterback has had weapons. Mahomes has had Kelsey and Hill. Allen has had Diggs.
Bro, Mahomes has Xavier Wade, bro. The fastest wide receiver in the NFL combine, bro. Like, I feel like people acting like, like these other QPs don't got players for them, bro.
Burrow has Chase and Higgins.
Like, honestly, we'll argue for Burrow, bro. Like, the Bengals are really bad, bro. So, like, the offensive line don't be protecting him, bro. So, like, Mahomes, like, he deserves his, not Mahomes, man. Joe Burrow deserves his respect because, like, the Bengals team is not that good. So, the number he'll be putting up, those are great. But imagine if, like, he played for a team like like Philadelphia, bro. Like, he would be putting up crazy numbers, okay? But for, like, especially Mahomes, bro. Mahomes is, like, the team he wants, bro.
Should Hurts be penalized for having a good supporting cast? The super talented teams Hurts has played on have been assembled in part because the front office believed in him. The Eagles could have spent draft capital on a quarterback, but instead they invested in weapons to complement Hurts. They believed in him as their franchise quarterback, even when many outside the organization didn't. What's especially remarkable about Hurts' journey is how he's had to continually prove himself at every level. He wasn't supposed to start as a freshman at Alabama. He wasn't supposed to reinvent himself as a passer at Oklahoma. He wasn't supposed to be an NFL starting quarterback. Yet, at every turn, he's exceeded expectations. With another Super Bowl appearance on his resume, the question of Hurts' legacy is becoming more pressing. What will this year's Super Bowl performance and result do for how he's thought of? With a win, it will do a whole hell of a lot. It would give him something that neither Burrow, Allen, nor Jackson has, a Super Bowl ring, and would silence many of his Allen nor Jackson has a Super Bowl ring and would silence many of his critics. But even without a championship, Hurts has already and would silence many of his critics.
Nah, bro, that chain goes hard, bro. Like the whole fit goes hard. Cause I seen him wearing pink paper. Like I don't know what he would be doing when it, but this fit right here, especially that chain goes hard. Okay, back to the video.
But even without a championship, Hurts has already cemented himself as one of the most successful young quarterbacks in the NFL. The only remaining question is when the rest of the league will finally give him the respect he deserves. No matter how you look at it, Jalen Hurts has already done more than most quarterbacks ever will. He's led his team to 2 Super Bowl appearances. He's been an MVP finalist. He's set records, defied expectations, and proven over and over again that he belongs at the top of the NFL. And yet, the doubt remains. Some say it's because of the talent around him. Others say he's a product of the system.
So you just wanted like to throw like the trashiest wide receiver, running back, offensive line, cornerbacks for him to prove himself, bro. Okay, let's be honest, bro. Did Pat Mahomes ever have to prove himself, bro, or was he given whatever he wanted, bro? Did Josh Allen have to prove himself? Baker Mayfield, nah, bro. I feel like players that don't have to prove themselves is like, I would say Lamar Jackson has to prove himself, bro. Joe Burrow had to prove himself, bro, okay? And has, bro, and still didn't get the respect they deserve. That's just my opinion. I don't know what you all think, okay? If you have a different opinion to what I'm saying, leave it in the comment, bro.
But if winning, leading, and producing at the highest level aren't enough, what more does Hurts have to do? Perhaps the NFL's treatment of Hurts reveals more about the league than it does about him. In a sport that prides itself on meritocracy, there seems to be a different standard for Hurts. The goalposts keep moving. First he wasn't accurate enough, then he couldn't read defenses well enough, then he relied too much on his legs, then he had too many turnovers. Now it's that he has too much talent around him. At some point, you have to wonder if the criticism is about football at all. Jalen Hurts doesn't fit the traditional quarterback mold. He was a second-round pick, not a first. He wasn't anointed the guy from day one. And he's not the flashy, loud superstar some teams love to build their brands around. Instead, he's quiet, methodical, and all business. And that might be exactly why the NFL seems to hate him. Hurts came into the league with a chip on his shoulder. Teams doubted him. Analysts doubted him. Even the team that drafted him, the Philadelphia Eagles, didn't exactly roll out the red carpet. He was labeled a gadget player, a temporary solution, a placeholder until someone better came along. But Jalen Hurts didn't follow the script. He outworked everyone. He developed as a passer. He led his team to multiple NFC championship games and Super Bowls. And he did it without ever demanding attention or drama. Maybe it's because he wasn't supposed to be here. Maybe it's because he made them all look wrong. Maybe it's because he's not loud enough. Maybe it's because he's not flashy. Or maybe it's because he's made a lot of people eat their words, and they're still trying to find a way to be right about him. Whatever the reason, the results speak for themselves. Find a way to be right about him.
I'm gonna tell you this, bro. This fucker over here was happy he won the Super Bowl right here. He was happy Mahomes didn't win the Super Bowl right here, bro. I mean, we can tell this dude here is happy, bro, okay? This ain't like, oh, yeah, I'm congratulating. Nah, bro was like, bro, thank you for beating that Mahomes dude, okay? We can tell this somebody was too. We can tell they both happy. He's just hiding it.
Whatever the reason, the results speak for themselves. The numbers say he's elite. The wins say he's elite. The film says he's elite. But still, the NFL doesn't treat him like he is. Jalen Hurts has already proven who he is. The question now is, when will everyone else catch up? Let us know in the comments if you...
Anyway, yeah, I really hope you all enjoyed the video, okay? Leave a comment what you think about this whole, Jalen Hurts story, bro, okay? And what do you think the Eagles are gonna, how do you think the Eagles are gonna finish next season, bro, okay? Because now I feel like there's gonna be more pressure on Jalen Hurts after a season like this, bro. if you think the critics are gonna be quiet because they won the Super Bowl, nah, bro, you're wrong, bro. They're reloading their ammo right now, bro. They're ready to keep firing. I'm telling you, bro. If he loses the opening game, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a busy media day, bro. Okay, it's gonna be bro. I'm telling you, bro. Pat Mahomes can get 10 touchdowns on opening day, and if Jalen Hurts Eagles lose a game, bro, bro, nobody's gonna give a hell that somebody got 10 touchdowns, bro. Like Tom Brady could return next season to and play and start a game. If Jalen Hurts loses their first opening game, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a busy day, bro. Anyway, I hope you all like this video. Okay, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and then like the video. Okay, I'ma see you all next time, boys.